Where do you really go when you fall asleep? Your body lies still, but your consciousness doesn't. And here's the part most people never realize. Your mind doesn't shut off during sleep. It turns on. But what exactly is it doing? And more importantly, where does it go? For thousands of years, humans have whispered about this nightly mystery. But only now are ancient wisdom and modern science beginning to agree. Something extraordinary happens when you sleep. If you've ever had a dream so vivid it felt like you lived an entirely different life, you're not alone. Drop it in the comments. Because those dreams, they might be more than just dreams. They might be fragments of a bigger truth you were never taught. Across civilizations, from the shamans of South America to the mystics of Tibet, sleep has always been seen as a gateway, not just for rest, but for the soul to journey far beyond the physical body. In ancient Egypt, dreams weren't just dreams, they were divine messages. The Greeks believed sleep allowed the soul to access higher realms. And even today, neuroscience is catching up, revealing that parts of the brain light up during sleep in ways eerily similar to deep meditation, and even near-death experiences. So what does that mean? It means that while the body sleeps, you may be waking up in another realm. Let me ask you something that science can't quite answer. If consciousness was only produced by the brain, then how do we explain people who have lucid dreams, visions, or astral experiences that provide information they couldn't possibly know? Are these just fantasies? Or are they glimpses into something real? There's a phenomenon many have never truly explored: the journey of consciousness. Every single night as you drift into sleep, your awareness begins to unhook from the physical body. It's not dramatic. It's subtle, seamless, but it's real. Your body becomes still. Your heartbeat slows. Your breath deepens. And the outer world begins to fade. But inside, your consciousness is just getting started. The deepest phases of sleep, especially REM sleep, are where the most strange, vivid, and meaningful experiences begin to surface. Some researchers, including pioneers like Dr. Charles Tart and the teams at the Monroe Institute, suggest that REM is the moment where your consciousness may lift out of your body and begin to move somewhere else. This is what we call an out-of-body experience, or OBE, also known as astral projection. Now here's the twist. Most people go through this unconsciously. They wake up with fragments, a dream, a strange feeling, a forgotten memory, but the journey still happened. So why don't we remember it? Because from the moment we're born, we're trained to believe that reality is only what we can touch, see, or measure. But those who've broken through that illusion describe something remarkable: a freedom beyond description, an awareness so expanded it's like seeing for the first time. Many have traveled to cities of light, met spiritual guides, or observed their own sleeping bodies from above. And here's where things get personal. Your emotional and mental state before sleep determines where your consciousness travels. Go to sleep with fear, anger, or stress, and you might descend into murky, confusing dream states. But sleep with a clear heart, an open mind, and a high vibration, and the door opens to worlds you never imagined. Tonight, before bed, try this. Set a conscious, simple intention. Say it out loud or in your mind. I want to remember where my consciousness goes tonight. This one sentence can begin to shift everything. Have you ever heard of the hypnagogic state? It's that strange in-between, right before you drift off. When thoughts blur, images appear out of nowhere, and you feel like you're slipping. That moment is not random. It's a gateway. Your brainwaves are slowing. Your subconscious is wide open. And you are in a perfect position to plant powerful commands. Inventors like Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison used this exact state to solve complex problems. They would fall asleep with a question and wake up with the answer. You can do the same. Try this before bed. I want to wake up with clarity. Show me the next step in my journey. Reveal something important in my dream. Let me connect with my higher self tonight. These aren't just affirmations. They are instructions to your subconscious and your soul. And when repeated consistently, your dreams begin to change. They become sharper. They start to speak to you. They become teaching tools. Many who practice intentional sleep and astral projection begin to have extraordinary experiences. They become aware in their dreams. They meet guides. They receive messages. And sometimes, they step completely out of the physical form, floating above their bed, gliding through realms that feel more real than waking life. But how is that possible? Is it just the imagination gone wild? Or is there something science hasn't quite caught up to? Consider this. There are countless documented cases where people in OBEs described events, people, or environments that were later verified, down to the tiniest detail. Even quantum physics is beginning to propose something radical. That consciousness may exist outside of the brain. That you may be more than biology. Neurosurgeon Dr. Eben Alexander, after his own near-death experience, described the other side as more real than anything in this world. So what does that mean for you? It means this. Every time you fall asleep, you may be stepping into another reality. One that responds to your vibration, your intention, and your inner frequency. Some travel to higher realms. Others revisit past lives. And some begin to piece together a larger puzzle about who and what they really are. So ask yourself, where do you go when you sleep? Do you want to find out? If you're ready to explore this deeper and learn how to access these hidden realms with awareness, leave a comment. I want to explore parallel realities. We're preparing something powerful to guide you into the next phase of your journey. Make sure you're subscribed. Turn on the bell, because what you experience tonight might just be more real than what you wake up to tomorrow. Shamanism, for example, teaches that dreams are not just personal illusions. They are spiritual journeys where the soul receives teachings, connects with guides, or even accesses hidden realms of information. Some Buddhist traditions take it even further. They view dreams as a kind of training for death, preparing the soul to navigate spiritual dimensions once it leaves the physical body. This isn't poetic metaphor. It's a discipline, a way to understand and move through layers of consciousness with awareness. And then there are the stories that truly challenge our understanding of reality, stories where two people report having the same dream on the same night. Friends, family, lovers, they wake up and share what they saw, and it's identical. How is that even possible? It raises a radical question. Can our consciousness interact with others while we sleep? The answer may lie in what happens to our awareness during deep sleep. At that point, consciousness is no longer confined to the brain. It expands. It connects. It taps into what some call the unified field, a concept from quantum physics suggesting that everything in the universe is interconnected at a deeper level of reality. In this state, the separation between minds dissolves. If thoughts and emotions truly have frequencies, if they vibrate, then perhaps two minds tuned to the same frequency can access the same dream realm, just like tuning two radios to the same station. Carl Jung's idea of the collective unconscious supports this. He believed we all draw from a shared reservoir of archetypes, memories, and symbols. That would explain why people across the world, across cultures, report similar dreams. When we sleep deeply, our minds may be entering this universal database, and that might be where shared dreams emerge. There are even accounts of joint spiritual experiences where multiple people claim to interact with each other inside the same dream. Upon waking, they describe the same details, the same environment, as if they had actually been there together. This suggests that in sleep, our consciousness may reach real dimensions, beyond the physical body's limits. But not all dreams are messages from the subconscious. Some are something more, dreams that warn, that reveal, that predict. These are premonitions. People throughout history have reported dreaming of events before they actually happened. Because in dreams, the mind is no longer bound by linear time. In waking life, we experience time as past, present, and future. But in dreams, time bends. The soul moves freely. It can access information beyond the usual scope of perception. Physicist John Wheeler once proposed that in quantum mechanics, the past can be influenced by the future. If that's true on a subatomic level, why not on the level of consciousness? When the body is at rest, the mind might just be capable of tuning into patterns, signs, echoes of the future. Many researchers have explored this. Some even documented famous cases like that of Abraham Lincoln, who dreamed of his own death shortly before his assassination. Or those who dreamed about the Titanic sinking or the 9/11 attacks, days or weeks before they happened. Carl Jung called this synchronicity, meaningful connections between events that can't be explained by chance. Perhaps these dreams are moments when the conscious mind touches something greater, where time doesn't flow, it coexists. So how do we know when a dream is just a dream, and when it's a message? The difference lies in the intensity. Precognitive dreams are usually vivid, filled with specific details and a deep emotional charge. People often wake from these dreams with a strange, unshakable feeling. A knowing, that what they saw was not just imaginary. If this is true, it means that sleep is more than rest. It's a gateway to a universal consciousness where all possible futures already exist. There are many kinds of dreams, and each type carries a different frequency of meaning. Symbolic dreams. These express messages from the subconscious using metaphors and images. Dreaming of a house, for instance, might symbolize your emotional state or internal structure. Precognitive dreams. They offer glimpses into the future. These are the dreams where people see events before they unfold in the real world. Lucid dreams. In these, you realize you're dreaming, and you can interact with the dream, even change the storyline. Spiritual dreams. These may involve encounters with guides, divine beings, or experiences that feel like you've left your body entirely. But how can we interpret these dreams correctly? The answer is twofold: attention and intention. Start with dream journaling. As soon as you wake up, write down everything you remember, even if it's fragmented. Over time, patterns start to emerge. Certain symbols repeat. Messages become clearer. Then there's the realm of the astral plane, one of the most fascinating and mysterious aspects of sleep. In esoteric teachings, from Hermeticism to Theosophy and Spiritism, the astral plane is described as a level of existence between the physical and the divine, a place where thoughts and emotions take form. In the astral, reality is malleable. It responds instantly to your intention, your vibration, your focus. People who've had out-of-body experiences often describe different layers of this plane. Some parts of it are beautiful and serene, filled with light, learning, and benevolent beings. Others are chaotic, dense, and confusing, shaped by fear, anxiety, and inner turmoil. This suggests that the vibration you carry before sleep can determine the type of astral experience you'll enter. Spiritual researchers often divide the astral into 3 levels. Lower astral plane, connected to dense emotions like guilt, fear, or anger. It's often described as dark, heavy, or disorienting. Middle astral plane, this is where most of our regular dreams happen, and where subconscious projections play out. Higher astral plane, a realm of elevated consciousness, wisdom, and encounters with mentors or divine energies. Some people stumble into these places during sleep. Others train to reach them through techniques like lucid dreaming, meditation, or conscious intention before bed. And then there's the most mysterious of all, spiritual encounters. People across the world report meeting light beings, deceased loved ones, even living individuals in the dream state. Some say these are just constructs of the mind. Others argue, passionately, that they are real interdimensional connections. The astral responds to vibration and focus. If we truly free ourselves from physical limitation during sleep, it's not impossible that these encounters are genuine. Often these meetings are spontaneous. A grieving person dreams of a lost parent or friend and wakes up in tears, feeling like they were really there. In some cases, they receive messages or details they couldn't possibly know, evidence that the contact was real. Other times, these dreams involve learning. Esoteric teachings speak of spiritual schools we visit during sleep, places where the soul is trained, taught, and reminded of knowledge it once knew. People have described waking with new insights, sometimes about ancient spiritual systems they had never studied, only to later discover that these teachings existed in sacred texts. So how do we initiate these kinds of encounters? It begins, again, with intention. Before sleep, say clearly to yourself, "Tonight, I want to meet my guide. Tonight, I want to visit a higher plane. Tonight, I open myself to learning." When this intention is repeated with focus and sincerity, the subconscious begins to respond. The dream world opens, and what you find there could change your life. Most nightmares occur during the REM phase of sleep, the stage when the brain is intensely active, processing emotional residue and reorganizing memory. It's a fascinating paradox. The body rests deeply, yet the mind is lit up like a dream theater. In this vivid landscape of symbols and stories, fears rise to the surface. Sigmund Freud believed that nightmares were the unconscious mind's way of expressing repressed trauma and fear. For him, dreams were disguised wish fulfillments, but nightmares were like glitches in that disguise. Carl Jung, on the other hand, saw them as something far more archetypal. He believed nightmares were messengers, symbols from the deeper layers of the psyche, bringing forth aspects of ourselves we have ignored, denied, or simply not yet integrated. Scientific research supports these ideas. People who undergo intense emotional strain, loss, trauma, chronic anxiety, tend to experience more frequent nightmares. It's not just random. The brain, in its wisdom, tries to find meaning in chaos. Nightmares are one of the ways it reorganizes emotional experience, attempting to digest the indigestible. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all nightmares can be traced back to psychological stress. Some seem to arise from unknown places. Shadowy, symbolic, or even supernatural, these dreams don't follow the usual rules. It's as if something beyond the personal mind is communicating through the dreamscape. If dreams reflect our emotional and energetic state, then we are not powerless. We can influence the quality of our dreams, and even the direction they take. The first step is to cleanse the energy of the day. Simple practices like burning sage, Palo Santo, or incense can clear stagnant vibrations. Visualization helps too. Imagine a cocoon of light surrounding your body as you lie in bed, sealing your energetic field with calm and protection. Mental reprogramming is another powerful tool. Replace intrusive thoughts with gentle affirmations before bed. I am safe. I am protected. I sleep in peace. These phrases begin to anchor a new frequency within your subconscious, shifting the internal landscape in which your dreams unfold. Food and substances play a role as well. Avoiding caffeine, alcohol, and heavy meals at night helps keep your nervous system in a calm state. Stimulation disrupts the subtle transitions of sleep and increases the chances of chaotic dreams or insomnia. Another powerful practice? Writing down your dreams. Nightmares often contain valuable insights, but only if we take the time to decode them. Even if a dream feels frightening, it might hold a lesson or reveal a pattern that's been running quietly beneath the surface of your waking life. Keep a dream journal beside your bed. Write what you remember immediately upon waking, even if it's just fragments. Over time, the details become sharper, and the language of the subconscious becomes more familiar. Lucid dreaming takes this further. When you become aware that you're dreaming, you gain the ability to direct the experience. In a nightmare, instead of running from the monster, you turn and face it. This one act can change everything. Many lucid dreamers report that the moment they confront the frightening figure, it transforms, often revealing a part of themselves that had been neglected or suppressed. From a spiritual perspective, nightmares aren't just disruptions, they're invitations. They call us inward, challenging us to face something we've been unwilling to acknowledge. In many mystical traditions, recurring nightmares are seen as sacred messages, repeating until we receive the lesson. In certain schools of astral projection, practitioners are trained to remain calm within a nightmare and use the experience as a gateway to deeper understanding. What appears as a terrifying creature may actually be a fragmented aspect of the dreamer, yearning to be healed and reintegrated into the whole. When we approach nightmares with curiosity rather than fear, something shifts. Fear becomes fuel for growth. The darkness becomes a teacher. And through that process, we come to see that even the scariest dreams are guiding us toward self-knowledge and personal evolution. But then comes the question, why do we forget so many of our dreams? Most people lose the memory of their dreams within minutes of waking. The reason lies in how the brain transitions from sleep to wakefulness. During REM sleep, the brain operates in a symbolic, nonlinear mode. But the moment we wake, the rational mind takes over, and often discards the strange symbols of the dream world as irrelevant noise. Yet dream recall is a skill. Like any other ability, it can be trained. The key is intention and consistency. Keeping a dream journal is crucial. The very act of writing signals to your subconscious that dreams are important. Even if you only remember flashes or sensations at first, with time, entire storylines will begin to emerge. Another simple trick is to remain still upon waking. Those first few seconds are precious. If you immediately move or check your phone, the thread of memory snaps. Instead, stay still, replay the dream in your mind, and then write it down. Also, reduce external stimuli before bed. Overexposure to blue light, scrolling endlessly on social media, or watching intense content before sleep can overload the brain. This not only makes dreams more chaotic, but it also lowers the chance you'll remember them. A calm, peaceful environment supports both dream recall and deeper rest. It's important to recognize that while the dream world can be a sanctuary of insight and learning, it's not without its challenges. People often romanticize lucid dreaming or astral projection without acknowledging the potential risks and fears that come with those experiences. Sleep paralysis is one of the most startling phenomena tied to the edge of the dream world. It occurs when the body is still in a paralyzed dream state, but the mind wakes up. The result? You're awake but you can't move. Many people report feeling a heavy pressure on their chest, and in some cases, sensing dark figures or presences in the room. From a scientific view, this is a glitch in the sleep-wake transition. Your brain has activated, but the body hasn't caught up yet. It's still in protective paralysis to prevent acting out your dreams. But from a spiritual standpoint, there's another interpretation. Some traditions believe sleep paralysis is a moment when your consciousness returns abruptly from the astral plane, catching a brief glimpse of other dimensions before fully re-entering the body. If you ever find yourself in this state, the most important thing is to remain calm. Focus on your breath. Try to wiggle your fingers or toes. The paralysis will pass, and panicking only intensifies the fear. For some practitioners, sleep paralysis is even used as a launchpad for conscious astral projection, a doorway into expanded awareness. Another challenge dreamers face is the appearance of unfamiliar or seemingly independent entities within the dream world. These are beings that don't behave like figments of your imagination. They feel other. Some appear wise and benevolent. Others, not so much. Are they just creations of the mind, or do they exist in some realm beyond? That's still up for debate. But what's clear is that the dream world is more complex than we often assume. It is not merely a psychological mirror, it may also be a bridge, a portal to something larger than ourselves. In this mysterious space between sleep and wakefulness, between fear and revelation, lies the potential for deep transformation. If we meet it with courage, discernment, and curiosity, the dream world can become a sacred classroom, where even the darkest nightmares reveal the light that was hidden all along. Have you ever experienced something strange in your sleep? A vivid dream, a sense of leaving your body, or an encounter that stayed with you? Share it in the comments. Your story might help someone else unlock a hidden part of themselves.